Hello everyone. In this session, we are going to learn how to solve problems on HackerRank. The problem what we're going to solve today is called as birthday cake candles. Now, to search for the problem, you can log into HackerRank and then in the search bar, you can just mention birthday cake candles. Birthday cake candles. Right? Okay. Now let us try to read what exactly the problem says and try to understand that before we could go ahead with solving. It basically says that you are in charge of the cake for your niece's birthday and have decided the cake will have one candle for each year of her total age. When she blows out the candles, she'll only be able to blow out the tallest ones. Your task is to find out how many candles she can successfully blow. Let's try to understand what this problem says. Okay, we have just identified the key points. It says that you are in charge for the birthday. Fine, that's okay, not a problem. It says that the number of candles on the cake matches with the age. If it is 10 years, there will be 10 candles. If it is 5 years, it will be 5 candles. If it is 20 years, there will be 20 candles. That's the first thing what we understood, right? The cake will have one candle for each year of a total age. And then when you blow, only the tallest candles will be blown, right? Now, your job is to find out how many candles will be blown successfully. Let us try to understand with some sample input. Assume the age of the niece is 4 years, so there will be 4 candles. And let us assume that these are the height of the candles: 6, 4, 2 and 6. For better understanding, we will just create a bar chart and try to understand, right? Now among this, the tallest candle is of height 6 and you can observe that there are 2 candles. Only these 2 candles will be blown, the other candles will not be blown. Fine. In order to understand better, let us also take up one more example, sample input, and try to understand. Assume that the age is 10, so the number of candles will be 10. And these are the heights of the various candles. Now, let us try to understand how many candles will be blown. Right? From this, if you can observe that the tallest candle's height is 90, and there are how many candles of height 90? It is 5 candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Okay. The same case, one more example here. Right? We again have 10 candles, and then out of that you can just observe that the 82 is the largest and we have 4 such kind of candles. So only these 4 candles will be blown and the other candles will not be blown. Right? I hope the problem is understood what to be done. Now, what is that we need to do? We need to first find out the tallest candle's height. That's the first task. The second task is to count the how many candles are of the height which is matching the tallest candle, right? So these are the 2 things what we need to do. First, find out the height of the tallest candle, and the next thing is count the number of candles matching the height of the tallest candle. So if you want to do this, we can write our own code to find out the tallest, or you can say the largest element in an array, and then also to count the number of elements, okay, matching that particular height. Instead of writing our own code to find out the largest element in an array and then the counting the number of times value is present, we will be using some of the built-in library functions. Let us observe what are the library functions available to find out the tallest element in an array, and also to count how many elements are present which is matching a particular value in an array. Now I just listed the various functions available in various languages. If we look into C++, among the STL algorithms, we have an algorithm called as max underscore element, which returns the largest element, or you can say the pointer to the largest element. Similarly, we also have the count algorithm, which returns the number of times the key element is present in the array. Right. The same if you want to work with Python, yes, we do have a built-in max method, which takes the list as an argument and returns the largest element. And then the count method, which is a part of a list class, can be used to find out the number of times the key element is present. Or if you want to work with Java, then we do have collections library. Within the collection library, we do have a max function to find out the largest element and the frequency one to find out the number of times a particular element is present in an array. So let's go ahead and try to solve this particular problem. Right? Okay. So first we're going to learn how do we solve this particular problem in C++. The first thing what will be the entered will be your age of the niece, and then we're going to read the height of each of the candles. And here I've used a variable length array. This, if in case it doesn't work in other compilers, please make sure that you replace the traditional arrays, or we can work with dynamic allocation, or you can also work with a vector. But okay, variable length array will work with GCC. Right? Now we need to find out the tallest element in an array. To find out that, we need to use a function called as max underscore element, which again takes the base address of an array and the end address, which is height plus n. Right? In order to use max underscore element, we need to include algorithm. Right? This returns me the address where the largest element is present. So I would like to collect the address where the largest element pointed to large. Let us say this is pointed to large, which collects the largest element in array. After that, if you want to print which is largest, we can just print out here fine. This is going to print the height of the largest candle. The next task is to count the number of candles matching that particular height. What do? We have to use the count algorithm. Count takes 3 arguments. The first one is the starting address of the array, second one is the end address of an array, and the third one is the key element what you want to search. Right? We need to pass the key element. We are going to dereference the pointer, we get the largest element, okay, which we need to find out. The count returns an integer value, which is basically the number of times that particular element is matching. Right? Candles blown, which will be the number of candles blown. Let's try to print this number of candles blown here. Fine, perfect. That's it, the task. So we just utilize the max underscore element to find out the largest element in array, and then we also use the count to find out the number of times that largest element is present in the array. Quite a simple one. Right. Now we'll try to quickly run this particular code and understand is this working or not. right? The file name is birthday.cpp. So let's compile and run this. Perfect. Now let's run this program and again give the input. The first example, you have seen that there are 4 candles to the age is 4 and the height of that is 6, then 4, then 2 and 6, right? The largest is 6 and there are 2 such occurrences. Perfect. Right. Now if you want, you can also work with some other inputs. Let us say it is 10. So let me just try to give the input 18, 90, 90, 13, 90, 75, 98, 90, 43. The largest was 90 and we had 5 such occurrences. Perfect. It's working fine, right? Your problem is solved. Quite a simple one. Now let us try to take this particular code and then try to place it in the HackerRank environment. Remember, we don't require this math.h, so we can remove this. So we'll just copy paste this. We'll just copy this code. We'll switch to the website. Right. Let us select the language as C++. Don't worry about various codes written there. You can remove that, you can write it. Now let me try to see, okay, compile this particular code and see what's the problem in this particular code. Right? It says that the output is wrong. It was just saying that the output is this, enter the age and enter the numbers and everything, but the expected output was only 2 and all this was unwanted. All these were unwanted things, right? So okay, what we need to do it is, whatever the printing message what you have done, we need to remove this. So you can just come to this code. Remember, the logic what you have written is perfectly correct. Only thing is you have added some additional print statements, okay, for a better understanding, which is not required when you are solving this problem in this particular environment. Just comment this. We don't need to print this. Then let us try to even comment this one. It's also not required. Even while printing, you don't need to print which is the largest element. We need to only print the number of candles blown. Even this statement is not required. And even out here, the only thing which is required is the number of candles blown. We don't require the message like, okay, the number of candles blown. That message is not required. You can just print the candles blown. Right? That's it. No problems. See, we never modified anything. We just use the same thing. The same max underscore element, the same candles blown, right? There's no other changes what we did. We'll just try to quickly, okay, run this particular code and try to understand, is this working fine or not? Perfect. It's working. So the only thing is we added some extra print messages which was not required, because internally the HackerRank basically has an actual output and then okay, it has an expected output. It matches these 2 files character by character. If it matches, well and good, otherwise it'll throw okay, give an error. So once you test this with a sample test case, right, you can submit the code and it's going to run with various test cases and you can observe that all the test cases are solved. Problem is solved. Quite good. Fine. Now let us also try to do the same problem in Python. If we have to do it in Python, then how do we do it? Right? So we'll just open a new file. We'll just save this. We'll call it as now it's a new file. For simplicity, we'll just try to hard code the height of the candles. Height of various candles is this. This is my list. I like to write 6, 4, 2 and 6. Right? These are the heights. We can always get to know the number of elements by applying the length function. right? Now you want to find out the largest element. Now in order to find out largest element, we can just use max and we can pass on the height. That's going to return me the largest element, which is 6. Remember, it does not return a pointer or a reference, okay, or the index. It returns the largest element, right? So if you want, you can capture it in a separate variable and print it, okay, or you can directly print it. So let me just try to capture, okay, into a variable and then try to print it. This is my largest, or you can say the tallest candle, right? You can just rename it as tallest candle, and you want to print the message tallest candle. Perfect. Now we need to count. If you want to count how many times this tallest candle is present, we just need to write height dot count, pass on this tallest candle. This will give me the number of times, okay, the number of elements we have which is matching the tallest candle. Quite simple. Save the code. After saving the code, let's try to compile this code. So you just need to write Python 3 birthday. Perfect. You want to work with some other inputs, you can work. But let us say you want to work with the input given by the user. If you want to work with the input given by the user, and if you also want to run this in HackerRank environment, since that is giving me first the number of candles, or you can say the age of the niece, which can be accepted with the help of input. But since input returns me a string, if you want, you can convert it to an integer and then place it. This is going to read the value of int. But after that, the height of all the candles out there is given in a single line and will be read with the help of a single input function. Now you want to accept one line and then break them into several elements, so we can just write split function. So now the split function is going to break this one line of string with multiple words into individual words and puts it into a list wherein each element of the list will be a string. Now since each element is a string, you need to convert that to an integer. So for that you can just use the map function, and the first one we would like to pass the function which should be applied for every element, and after that the second one is the list what you need to pass. The map returns a generator object, then we can just collect this, okay, and it does not return a list, it returns a generator object. If you want to convert to list, just convert to list. Here comes your input. That's it. Fine. So let's try to compile this. Now let's say 4, then 6, 4, 2, 6. Perfect. You want to try with some other input, you can always try with another inputs out here. Let us say you would like to work with 5, and then let us say it is 18, and then 90, then 90, then 13 and 90, right? Tallest candle 90, how many? 3. Perfect. So let's take this particular code, place this in HackerRank environment. You can just go to the HackerRank, select the language as Python, Python 3, right? Don't worry about whatever the code is given. So what we have given, okay, return a simple code is sufficient. First run the sample test case. Oh, so we are also printing the tallest one, which is not required as per the input here. So let's go back here and then remove this print statement which is printing the tallest candle. Right, then run the code. And then let us submit this. Quite a simple one. It also passed. Fine. So let's look back to the code what we had. This is the code of finding out the large number of candles blown using Python. We used the max where we passed the list, and then we used the count method of the list class. The same thing when we used C++, we used max underscore element. We passed the starting address and the end address, and then max underscore element returns a pointer to the largest element. We will correct on the pointer, and then we dereference the pointer to get the element, and then we pass it on to the count algorithm, and then the count algorithm gave me the number of times the element is present. Right? Quite a simple one. Fine. All the best. Okay, start to work with HackerRank. Thank you.